In this video, we're going to cover the dynamic JavaScript node in ezLink. So ezLink provides a lot of nodes that will allow you to complete nearly every task that you want, replacing scripting. However, sometimes there are some advanced or special logic nodes that you need that are specialized or specific to your case. And there's no node that exists to support this. So ezLink has script nodes, and we're going to be covering the JavaScript node in this video. So what the JavaScript node is, a dynamic node that allows you to program it using JavaScript, where you can apply any of your own logic inside the node. So here I've dragged the JavaScript node into my stage, and I'm going to click on the code button over here on the top right. And this opens up the script editor or the node editor. So in this example, we're going to create a simple node that handles arrays. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing we want to do is give our node a name. So I'm going to call my node here the array handler. And this will be the name of our node. The next thing we need to do is set up the in and out fields of our node. So I'm going to start with creating a string field, and it's going to be our input of our string. And here I'm going to give it a name. Now the name is important because this is the name of the variable inside your script. So I'm going to call this one ARR for array, and the label, this is what shows in the user interface of the node. I'm going to call this array, and I'm going to leave the default value empty. And then I'm going to click create, and this is going to add my field over here. So I can see the name of the field, the type, and if it's an input, output, or both. So the next input that I'm going to need is the index of the item in the array. So I'm going to select an integer type field. This is going to be input as well. I'm going to call this index. Again, give a label that will show up inside the node. And by default, I'm going to get the 0 index. So I'm going to put in 0 as my default value and click create. And the final field that we want to create is the output, which is going to be a string. So I'm going to just call this output, give it a label, and in the direction I'm going to select out, and I'll just click create. So now there's no logic in my scene, but if I go ahead and close this, you can now see that the fields that I created before have been added to the node. So it's important to notice here that the names that you see here are the field labels and not the name. So let's go back into the editor and let's start writing our script. So the first thing I want to do is convert the string input that I get into a JSON array. So I'm going to say create a new variable equals, let's call this JSON array, and I'm going to, give it the name equals, and I'm going to pass the string. So in JavaScript we do JSON dot pass and provided the input. So here I'm going to give it the field name ARR. Okay, now I'm going to check that it's a valid array that I have here. So I'm going to do an if statement. If array, I'm going to use the array function in JavaScript. I'm going to check is array, and I'm going to pass it the JSON array. So as you can see, our editor already auto-completes the variables for us, which is extremely helpful and makes development a lot faster. So if we have a valid JSON input, a valid array, and it managed to be passed, I'm going to check that we have a value at the index. So another if statement. I'm going to check the JSON array is going to be going to put in the index here. So this is the index that the user selects using the index field. And if that's true, then I'm going to output the value at this index. Okay, so I can press the compile node here to make sure that I don't have any syntax errors inside my script. So everything is successful, the script was compiled. And I can go ahead and close the editor now. And let's go ahead and test if this works. So I'm going to create an array here. So I'm just going to create an array of numbers. So let's call this apple. Next item is going to be grape. And the third item is going to be banana. Okay. The index, I want it to be 0. And I'm going to grab my output container here. And I'm going to grab the text property and attach the output to the text. So you can see that at index 0 of my array, I have apple. So this is returning apple into the text output here. Let's go ahead and change our input to our index to 1, and we get grape. And if we change it to 2, we get banana. And if we give it an index that doesn't exist, nothing's going to happen to our output. So this was an example of using the JavaScript node to create custom logic inside ezLink. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy using ezLink.